Welcome to our podcast, You're Entitled to Our Opinion, where we delve into the Christian life, the Bible, and pretty much anything that's happening in the world today.
But more than just our opinion, we want to share truth that just might change your life.
Now, we don't claim to have all the answers, but we know who does. And our goal is to give him a chance to make a difference in your life.
I'm Jay Scribner.
And I'm Tom Johnson.
And you are entitled to our opinion. Are you drinking again?
Happy birthday to you. Hey, what do you got over there?
Look at that deal, man.
That's a cool hat.
That's actually a Father's Day gift. How appropriate, I mean to tell you. Yeah, I love it.
That's good. Well, speaking of gifts, happy America birthday.
Are you serious?
I'm serious because
Whoa.
I have my own. And,
look at that deal.
I don't know if it focuses really well, but mine's got the eagle on it with the flag and the happy birthday there. So happy birthday,
Thank
America.
you, sir. That's nice. I
You're
love
welcome. Well, some cultures, instead of getting gifts, you give gifts. And so for this celebration, I thought you'd enjoy that. So anyhow, here's my.
I'm going to actually remove my hat only because I need to get my
get your ears on.
Need to get my ears on, good buddy.
Oh,
hey, thanks.
Good.
That is really nice.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Yeah. A friend of ours, he showed me this one. He said there's a certain store in town that had them, and I thought, and I collect eagles. Eagles, bald eagles have been my passion ever since I was maybe, at least in high school, maybe junior high. I've always thought the majestic eagle has just been so cool. So I have, in fact, I have a couple of here, but I have about 60 different eagle something or others.
Really?
Could be a mug, could be a pen drawing, sculptures. I love it. And I love the fact that it's America's symbol, but I love them anyhow. It could be if Benjamin Franklin had his way, be the turkey. I don't know if you know that story, but he thought that the eagle was a scavenging scamp, and he thought the turkey represented. And now I think, no. Ben, I'm glad yours didn't work.
I think I had heard that. That is funny.
It is so fun. But anyhow, celebrating 250 years of...
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's incredible. And 250
and
years
I'm
of
such
freedom.
a patriot. I love our country.
Yes.
I love our country.
I
don't know if I told you the story, but several years ago, I got to do... And I don't have... I don't have... What term am I thinking of when you got... man, I've got to do this. I've got things that I've got to check off.
Yeah.
And
a bucket list?
A bucket list.
Your bucket list.
Yeah. I think I'm 250 years old. I can't remember this stuff. But if I had a bucket list, this would have been on it.
Yeah.
I was in New York City with someone, and we had planned to go to see the Statue of Liberty. Well, he was sick that morning when we woke up. And I thought, well, maybe I'll stay here. And he insisted. He said, no. You go do that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Tom, getting on that ferry and going out to Ellis Island and then seeing it in the distance. Yeah. It literally was one of my passions. That someday I would get to see the Statue of Liberty. I couldn't take my eyes off of that statue.
Yep.
Once we rounded a corner area in the bay, and then we could see it, I just couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Yeah.
We docked. I'm probably pushing and shoving and running into people because I just could not take my eyes. I was enamored by this. And I go around to the front, and I just fell on my knees.
Wow.
I fell on my knees, and I prayed. And I thank God that I was born in America. Yeah. Thank God for my citizenship in the United States of America. Thank God
Wow.
for the dual citizenship that I have, to be an American citizen
Right.
and to be a citizen of heaven.
Yeah.
I have no idea how long I stayed on my knees, long enough to have a good prayer time.
Yeah.
When I got up, there was a young lady that had her 2 sons with her,
Uh-huh.
and she tapped me on the shoulder. She said, Sir, would you please take our picture? She said, I don't want my kids to forget this moment.
Yep.
I looked at her. I looked her in the face. She's probably thinking, oh, man, maybe I picked the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I looked at her and I said, ma'am, I don't want that either. I don't want your kids to ever forget. Not only this moment, I don't want your kids to ever forget how marvelous it is that God has allowed us to be in this land of ours.
Yeah.
And so, man, I took her picture and I stayed and I stayed.
Yep.
It was a grand day in my life, Tom. I don't mind telling you.
I agree, because I have kids that live on Manhattan, and we did get to do the same thing.
Yeah.
We went down to the park there, and then looked across the bay and said, yeah, we got to go. And the only thing I wish could have happened, and it won't ever happen, is I wanted to go up into her hat and be able to look out over the top. But you can go inside, you can see the structure, but you can't go up there because, I mean, it's 250, not quite 250 years old, but I mean, we want it to stay. So it's a national park now, and you have to do what they say. So I said, okay, I won't try to get up there. But.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a great day in my life. I love this country. Yeah. I'm grateful to be an American.
Yep.
And, you know, we've traveled a lot. We've gone to a lot of countries. And I've told people that, hey, it only takes you about 5 minutes or less to be in another country to be thankful that you're from America.
Yep. Yeah, the time I got to go down into Mexico on a mission trip, back in the bush, you know, where they're living in huts and they only have a couple of changes of clothes and maybe a bowl to eat out of.
Yeah.
Boy, you hit this country and you better kneel down and thank the Lord. And I think I kissed the ground when I came back. You know, and that's the thing.
We call it the United States of Abundance. And that is what we are.
You know, and
God's blessed us.
He has. And that's the most incredible thing. Now, 250 years is, I think we've broken the record for a republic, the length of a republic.
I think you're right.
And it goes back even to the Roman era and that. And so that's why one of my first questions is, when it comes to America, do we gripe more than we pray?
Oh, wow.
Because, and I love that song, you know, America, America, God shed his grace on you, on me, you know, and it just, this is not a perfect country. God didn't come to save America. He came to save us individually.
Sure.
But the cool thing about when we look back, you know, the Pilgrims came, when they came over, part of it was a freedom from tyranny. But the part of it was, too, and the most important part, was the freedom to worship.
Sure.
They didn't want to be controlled by the Church of England or the whatever. So in all the European countries, there was a religious bondage that when they came across this pond to hit these shores, there was the freedom to be able to worship God without hindrance, without any tyranny.
And, man, it's a marvelous thing. I tell you what, I don't take that for granted. Again, I've been in some countries that have been dangerous countries that if you expose the fact that you were a Christian, we might be doing this podcast from prison. And so I've been in some of those places.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful, so thankful for the freedom of religion. And the reality is, I would stand up for any religion that wants to promote itself in America. Now, some people might throw rocks at me for that.
Uh-huh.
And make no mistake about it, I want to promote the one true God, the God of Christianity. But when it comes to the freedom of religion that we enjoy here in America, I'll stand up to promote anyone that wants to promote their religion. Now, I'd gladly debate them about the truth of that. But for them to have the freedom to promote their religion, that's one of the grand things about America.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up, because right now Christianity has become the redheaded stepchild when it comes to religions in America.
Yeah.
The Muslims, a lot of the New Age, they're being promoted where Christianity is actually becoming, like I say, not being able to really worship. You sent me this article last week or so about the Pride Month and the guys that were putting scripture verses on their hats.
Sure.
And
professional baseball.
In professional baseball, MLB. And, how the fur flew on that one. People were getting called on the carpet. And, there was a big brouhaha over that, is that, do we have the freedom or do we not? Well, the Major League said, if everybody in the team does it, you can do it. And so if someone's father died and they wanted to have, a pink ribbon, if everybody did it, that was great. Well, in this situation with the Pride Month and with the scripture verses, not everybody was on the same page.
There was a real collision with that.
Right.
Yeah. Really was.
And it was interesting because the Christians were the ones that were being attacked. It wasn't that, both sides were wrong because they weren't all together. No, it was, no, you Christians weren't on board with everybody else.
Right.
And so that's where there's an old song, and it was in the 60s or 70s by Joni Mitchell called The Big Yellow Taxi, and it has this one line: "Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone?"
Yes.
Can I say that again? Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone?
Wow.
And that's when we're talking about our freedom of religion, freedom not from religion, but freedom of religion.
Right.
We have to be very careful that the people that we put into representative leadership, they better stand with that whole thing. We're not going to give in to this pressure that, Christians, no. Everybody else, yes.
Sure. Now, before we leave the Major League Baseball thing, we do need to clarify, because when I first read that, I thought, man alive, this is in fact an attack up on their First Amendment rights. And if you really slice it thinly there, you might say, yeah, it was.
Okay.
But it's my understanding that within the Major League Baseball contractual structure, they really were out of line within that contractual structure because of what the team was promoting. So it was a team promotion under their contract. And again, I don't know that I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's that more than an attack on their First Amendment rights. Because when I first read that, I thought, man, that is a direct attack on their First Amendment rights. So I think I would go back and read my contract a little more carefully and maybe negotiate next time.
Yeah. But again, when I read the article, it was like, if we're all on the same page, we can do it. But if we're not all on the same page, we shouldn't do it. And yet they were the ones that were pointed out.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You didn't get on that.
Sure.
So, and that's the thing. The freedom of religion, like you said, everybody has the opportunity. And what we're losing in America, and we've seen this in the last maybe decade, but probably even longer, is the ability to be able to debate, but not disagreeable. We can disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable.
Right.
And that's the thing, is there is a squelching of, I believe, in the arena of discussion, those that have a strong Bible-based belief. We want to hear everybody else's opinion or their point of view when it comes to religion. But Christianity has become, like I say, the one that has been attacked the most. If you attack a Muslim in America today, oh, the brouhaha that would happen. But the Christians and the Jews, the anti-Semitism that we've seen over the last 8, 10, 12 years, that's something that we need to be very careful about here in America.
You're exactly right. And I think that it's going to become even more intense, unfortunately, in these latter days. That's why Christians need to decide now that when we come under attack, how are we going to react?
Good.
Are we, in fact, going to stand strong? Are we, in fact, going to stand firm? Mm-hmm. Are we, in fact, going to put on the full armor of God? Mm-hmm. And having done all to stand, therefore stand. Yep. And so we need to decide now, within the comfort of our studio or within the comfort of our home, mm-hmm. or within the comfort of our friends or within the comfort of our church, when it really comes down, when push comes to shove, and I believe it will.
Right.
Are we going to be unashamed of Christ? Are we going to take a stand for Christ? Mm-hmm. Are we going to stand within the liberty that the United States Constitution gives us? But even further than that, mm-hmm. if the Son, S-O-N, has set you free, you're free indeed.
Right.
And so we're going to stand in that liberty.
That's right. I just read an article the other day about China. They're starting to crack down on Christian fellowships again within the country. And
in China?
In China. And it's kind of been ongoing, but it hit the news that it's not only ongoing, but it's been ramped up. And so there are countries, like you said earlier on in this podcast, where the being able to worship God is not available. I mean, the it's not only frowned upon. A lot of European countries, they frown upon it, but there are other places it still is. You will be put in jail.
Right.
We think of Nigeria and all the Christians that have
right.
been killed there. Could it ever come onto these shores?
It sure could.
It sure could. And that's the thing. And it starts with, I think, the oppression of it. And then when it goes from oppression, it goes to outright opposition. And I keep going back to 2 Timothy 3, when it talks about in the last days. And I have that whole list of, but understand this, that in the last days there'll come times of difficulty. For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power, or they creep into households and capture weak women burdened with sin and led astray, always learning, but never able to arrive at the knowledge of the truth.
Now, were you reading from a local newspaper there, or what was this?
Yes. And that's
I'll tell you what. You're reading from 2 Timothy chapter 3, but I'm telling you, it is like picking up the daily news. Mm-hmm. It's like picking up a magazine today. It's like watching the 6 o'clock news, what you mm-hmm. just read. Mm-hmm. We're there.
Yeah. Well, see, in America, we have the freedom to believe what we want to believe. We have the freedom to do what we want to do. However, we are a nation of laws, We are a moral nation. We should be a moral nation because we have God's laws. But that's where the big fight is coming, is we're seeing this rise of lawlessness. And we dealt with that a couple of months ago, of lawlessness in our nation. And that's the thing. And I love the fact that you quote this almost every week. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord.
That's right.
And when we get away from God, then this whole list becomes the headlines of our newspapers. Who now is the next one that is in anarchy and opposing? And the thing is, I love the one, I don't love it, but unappeasable. And that is one thing that I've seen more than anything else, is that there's no reasoning. There's no ability to come to an agreement. There's no ability to be able to disagree agreeably. And in that way, we're seeing that we're seeing the division that it talks about, that in the last days, the righteous will become more righteous and evil will become more evil.
It's that reprobate mindset.
Oh, yeah. Right.
From Romans 1.
Yeah.
Hey, I was looking through, when I was pastoring full-time, Tom, every time we'd come to Independence Day weekend, boy, we really did it up big.
Yeah.
And we focused on worshiping the Lord in the freedoms that we have and that we enjoy. And I would have a message commensurate with the weekend.
Sure.
I was looking through my sermon file and came up with a couple of things. If you don't mind, let me just share these 4 things. Let me just read it to you from my sermon notes.
Okay, go ahead.
From several years ago. We have forgotten that inherent within independence itself is that which demands these 4 things.
Okay.
Number 1, responsibleness and responsibility. So again, let me preface what I said. Inherent within independence itself. So because we enjoy the independence that we do in this marvelous country of ours, is that which demands, number 1, responsibleness and responsibility. Just because we have independence, that doesn't mean that we can be irresponsible.
Good. That's
No,
good.
we need to be responsible and responsibility. Number 2, a respect for the whole and not just the individual, lest all individuals lose their independence. So while we do have individual independence, and we need to respect that,
right,
I can't just go out here and create violence and rioting just because I'm independent.
Good. That's
I need to have a respect for those around me.
Right.
I need to have a respect for, if you disagree with me.
And I do at times.
There you go. But like you said, let's disagree agreeably. So I need to have a respect for the whole and not just the individual.
That's good.
All right, number 3, an appreciation for the very tenets of our history and heritage that has afforded for us the blessings and benefits of our independence. And I'm telling you, that is being eroded in our nation. It's not being taught in schools.
Right.
I think of just a few years ago when there was rioting throughout the United States. Let's tear down these statues. Let's tear down these things that supposedly divided us.
Right.
No, let me tell you, we need to understand. We have an appreciation for that, for the tenets and our heritage that has afforded for us the blessings and benefits of our independence. And finally, number 4, an acceptance of the culture that creates the environment whereby freedom and liberty can thrive and survive. It doesn't mean that we agree with everything.
No.
But we accept the culture that creates that environment whereby we can live in the freedoms that God has afforded us.
Yes.
Well, those were 4 things out of one of my sermons that I shared once upon a time.
That's good.
And I think it really cuts to the meat of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. I love that one, especially. We are individuals, but we are one nation under God.
One nation.
God has called
under
us. God establishes kings and authorities and rulers according to the word. I believe, and I think you agree, God established this nation for such a time as this.
Sure.
So we can stand united even in our differences. When you and I differ, do we then walk away from each other and say, well, you're no good? No. We realize that this is something that we may not agree on, I may not understand, or we may just not ever agree on this.
Sure.
But does that, in my eyes or in your eyes, make you less of a person, make me less of a person that in unity? Our church, my best friend, if we agreed on everything, one of us would be unnecessary.
There you go.
And so here we are. We are one nation. We need to have that. What will bring us together as a nation? That's the biggest question right now in the situation we're in. The president, our leader, our representatives, and they call them the leaders. Or is it the ability to be able to one-on-one say, we are a nation? It's not a tyranny. It's not you have to comply. It's no. God has, or even if you're not a believer, we have the opportunity to stand and do great things as a people.
That's amazing. And the reality is this one nation under God.
Mm-hmm.
I did another sermon one time called America Needs God.
Mm-hmm.
And I started out by pointing out the fact God doesn't need America. And let me tell you, I think that was a rude awakening for a lot of people in congregation.
Uh-huh.
We think he does.
Uh-huh.
No, it's the other way around.
Right.
America needs God.
Yep.
History is his story.
Yep.
And God's going to unfold his plan and his purposes. Mm-hmm. And one of the key purposes for America, in my opinion, is that America has been an evangelical country that has evangelized the world far more than any other country in all of history. Mm-hmm. We have taken the good news, the gospel of Jesus Christ, to the world.
Yeah.
And when we don't continue to fulfill God's purpose and God's plans within us, why should we continue in existence?
Right.
America needs God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that God has allowed me to be an American. And to live in this marvelous, marvelous land.
Yep. We pray God bless America. But based on what you just said, we really need America bless God.
I love that.
And
that's
so
good.
Here we are as we celebrate this great opportunity, this 250th anniversary, our country's birthday. Let's bless God. And as believers, and if you're not a believer, God bless you anyhow, because he wants to reveal his grace and his love in your life. And so thank you so much for joining us. Seek him. If we can be of any help, you have all of our information here at the end of the podcast. But again, thank you for joining us. Jay?
Thanks for sharing that with us. Thanks for reminding us. America bless God.
That's right.
Glad you're here. Join us next week, because You're entitled to our opinion.
Friends, you can contact us at yourentitled777@gmail.com. Also on Facebook.com, You're Entitled to Our Opinion. Jay's video blog, Here's Hope America, can be found on Facebook.com, Here's Hope America. Tom's blog, Durf Nerfle's Thought of the Day. You can find it at facebook.com/DurfNerflesTOTD, but also you can sign up to receive it by email on the website durfnerfle.us. Share our opinion. As with all podcasts, you, our listeners, are the way people join us as you share the podcast with them. You're Entitled to Our Opinion has been recorded at Flat Frog Studio, Hollister, Missouri.